Welcome to CLIA's Legal Information for Tenants in Manitoba video series.
This video is about a landlord's right to enter the tenant's premises.
This video was produced by Community Legal Education Association Manitoba, or CLIA, with funding provided by Justice Canada. CLIA is located in Winnipeg, Manitoba on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional gathering place of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the traditional homeland of the Métis people. Our water is sourced from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation. We acknowledge that much harm was done in the past and continues to be done. Therefore, we dedicate ourselves to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation. This video contains information about Manitoba laws and is only intended for Manitoba residents. This video contains general legal information only and not specific legal advice. For legal advice about your specific situation, speak to a lawyer.
By law, tenants are generally entitled to quiet enjoyment and peaceful possession of their rented living spaces. This means their landlord cannot come into a tenant's space whenever they want, without a good reason. A landlord can only come into your unit under certain circumstances. Usually, they need to give you notice, but not always. A landlord can come into your unit without notice if there is an emergency and coming into your rental unit is necessary. The landlord can also come in without advance notice if they ask you and you say they can come in. If you are moving out and have given the landlord notice that your tenancy is ending, or if you have been given notice by the landlord that your tenancy is ending, the landlord can come in to show the rental unit to a possible new tenant. If you refuse, the landlord could make a claim against you for loss of rent if they can't rent out your unit. The landlord can come in to inspect your rental unit without notice at a reasonable time on the day you have to leave, to complete a rental unit condition report, or to determine whether you have fulfilled your obligations under the Residential Tenancies Act and your tenancy agreement. If a landlord believes that a rental unit has been abandoned, they can enter the unit 24 hours after providing written notice, unless they hear from the tenant in the meantime saying the unit is not abandoned. In most other situations, a landlord can only enter a tenant's unit if they specify a reasonable date, time, and purpose for entering the unit, with at least 24 hours notice, but not more than 2 weeks notice. These situations include to make repairs or other obligations of the landlord, or to inspect the rental unit to see if any maintenance should be performed. If there will be ongoing work done in the unit, the landlord can provide multiple dates and times in advance. To complete a rental unit condition report if the tenant has asked for the landlord's consent to an assignment or subletting. To permit inspection by a mortgagee or insurer when a mortgage or insurance coverage is being arranged or renewed on the residential complex. To show the rental unit to prospective purchasers of the rental unit or residential complex. To provide tenant services, for example, meals or light housekeeping to the tenant as specified in the tenancy agreement. Once the landlord has given the tenant the appropriate notice, they can enter the unit at the specified time. They do not need the tenant to confirm or approve. However, if there is a good reason that the landlord should not enter at the time shown in the notice, the tenant should let the landlord know. For example, if the tenant works nights and will be sleeping in the unit during the proposed time, they can tell the landlord that the proposed time is unacceptable. In this situation, the tenant must give the landlord a different time or date to enter the unit. A final note. A landlord or tenant must not change the lock to a rental unit without the other's consent.
If you have questions about whether your landlord can enter, or whether your landlord gave you proper notice, or if your landlord's visits are so frequent that they are bothersome, contact the Residential Tenancies Branch for advice.
The Residential Tenancies Branch is a government body that provides information to both tenants and landlords about their rights and obligations. The Residential Tenancies Branch also investigates matters between tenants and landlords. For more information, visit the Community Legal Education Association's website at www.communitylegal.mb.ca.